Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. I pray you are well on this blessed day. Alhamdulillah, Eid Mubarak to everyone. Alhamdulillah, it's good to be back with Shaykh Imran and talking about a topic that I think is relevant today, which is the topic of marriage, love, the summer of love, as we've entitled it. But before we start, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh Imran, how are you?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan bik, Sayyidi Mawlai. I am fine, I am good with the grace of God Almighty, and alhamdulillah, I am even more in a state of joy and happiness by seeing your face. Alhamdulillah, Allah keep you protected.
I think you've not just illuminated us with yourself, but the background is flaming.
Allah,
love, I think.
I said, summer of love, you know what I'm saying? So I thought to myself, because the thing is, and we're going to touch on this later on, inshallah, the concept of love, right? Now, the thing is, it depends who you're talking to, right? Now, yes. Love is a very complicated emotion and feeling. Do you understand? So I thought about it. I go, you know what shall we do? What shall we do? So I thought, let's put this in. It's a bit controversial. Let's keep it like that. Alhamdulillah. Now, Sayyidi Mawlai, I just want to say, just like yourself, Alhamdulillah, Eid Mubarak to all of our brothers and sisters, our elders and youngsters. Alhamdulillah. Kullu amanu wa antum bakhair, kullu sana wa antum tayyibun. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah into your coming months, inshallah ta'ala. Ramadan al-Kareem, Ramadan, the month of generosity, mercy, blessing.
Do you feel things have changed? Ramadan, the feeling, the blessings of Ramadan, there's a loss, isn't there? I mean, do you feel that? I mean, our viewers
Ya Mawlai,
well, the Ramadan is just special.
Allah tabarak wa ta'ala give you barakah, Sayyidi Mawlai. I think, they say that when a guest comes, and it comes with a gust of mercy, forgiveness, and it's all giving, and not taking. You have a very different relationship. Do you know what I'm saying? You're like, where are you going? Do you know what I mean? Where are you going? Yeah. That's exactly what's happening with Ramadan. And of course,
it's to have everyone back. We're back after Ramadan. Please do comment. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Please do get involved. Please do ask your questions. We're here to talk about what you want to hear as well. Of course, we've got some... actually already got something to share. A lot of people have been responding previous to up to the build-up as well. A few messages have been sent in, a few questions have been sent in, and people saw the topic. So please do comment, please do ask if you've got anything related to today's topic. We do want you to get involved, inshallah ta'ala. But Shaykh Imran, why the summer of love? Can you explain us what's going on here?
Akhil Aziz, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Habib Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa barik wa sallim. يا أكرم الخلق ما لمن ألوذ بسواك عند هلول الحادث الأمامي يا رب بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مدى واسع الكرم. Akhil Aziz, the truth of the matter is this: a lot of our brothers and sisters have been in loss because of this coronavirus. They've not had nikahs done, weddings have been cancelled, rukhsatis have been stopped. Nikah ceremonies have not going to take place. Cancellation. And now summer's here. Alhamdulillah, not only our feelings and thoughts and reflection are heating up, but of course, this is a whole area which, of course, in our culture, in our communities, in the Muslim community, alhamdulillah, summer is the time that we get together. We show love, we are affectionate, we are compassionate. Can't get away from
these wedding invites, I'm guessing, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Now there's not a single one.
No, alhamdulillah. This is an essential, important part of our deen, part of our tradition, part of our cultures. Do you understand? And of course, alhamdulillah, part of our Shari system that Rasulullah has given us, all right, to protect ourselves from many wrong and false element in general society, to ghadd al-basar, to the lowering of the gaze and hifazat of the farj. Do you understand? So alhamdulillah, it's a beautiful tradition of Rasulullah alayhi salatu. So this is why, Akhil Aziz, I think both you and I, we reflected and thought about it and said, you know what? Let's show a sense of sympathy for those brothers and sisters who not had the opportunity to get the nikahs done. They were ready for it. Everything was going to happen. All right, within days, the whole phone back up. All the managers said, very sorry, we're going to cancel everything because of this coronavirus, COVID-19. We cannot have this. So I think, bi'iznillah, it is important for us to remember that, to reflect over that, and do dua for them as well, inshallah ta'ala. And in the process, to have a discussion and conversation, because that's what it is. Nothing that I said here is that's it, the conversation end. It doesn't. This is a starting point. This is a starting point. We talk, we discuss, we share thoughts and reflections and etc. Is to take this beyond this. So go.
Yeah, just on that point.
Yeah.
I just like to remind our viewers, please share the link, please get involved, please suggest topics, please tell us what you want to hear about. We're here just to talk, to share, to discuss, and hopefully within these discussions we may touch on topics or touch on areas and questions that benefit you, that allow you to see a bit more deeper, a bit more broader into these topics, into these areas that will ultimately help us and empower us. That's the idea here. We don't want to just talk. We want to actually help the listeners. We want you to feel a sense of understanding, sense of growth, a sense of confidence in what you inshallah will benefit from in these conversations. So please do get involved, please do share, please do comment, just to say hello, inshallah ta'ala. One of the brothers was telling me there's somebody who texted in from Australia just
down
before
under.
Yeah, mashallah. So down under. So welcome to our worldwide audience, obviously with the technology now. Yeah, mashallah. Yeah, so let's get into the actual. So we're coming to talk about the summer of love. Where do we start? Where does it all start, Shaykh Imran?
Sayyidi Mawlai, I think the concept of love itself, all right, is a very powerful one, right? It's that emotion, that feeling that hundreds of millions of couplets of poetry have been written on. And that's no exaggeration, because I'm talking about in every language, in every culture, in every background, in every sense of understanding of human interaction. This is one emotion and feeling that so much writing has been done. Is unbelievable, right? It is unbelievable, right? And because the thing is, love is not only the love which we generally talk about, right, between a man and a woman. Love is much broader than that. The love between the parent and the child, the love between the mother and the children, the love between brothers and sisters, the love between the creature and the Lord. You understand? The love between the master and the slave. Okay, the love between an animal with the owner, right? A dog with the owner, a cat with an owner. Do you understand? This is a love and affection and compassion that we show towards others. But love is that emotion, that feeling, Akhil Aziz, right?
Yeah.
That it depends who you're really talking to. Who are you discussing this with? Who are you in conversation with? Right? Because it depends. It's like this, isn't it? What is your origin? So where you originate from?
Yeah.
Which culture one is influenced by? Where you are from in the world? If you're Eastern, if you're Middle Eastern, if you're Western, you have a certain perception of what love is. Because the thing is, in the West, even though there is something called tragic love, right? And especially when you study the romantic stories of the likes of Romeo and Juliet, for example, right? Which is one of the most read, love stories by one of the greatest writers, right, of the English language, you would say. At least that's what they're stating. Sheikh Shabir.
Yeah, Sheikh Zubair, isn't it?
Shakespeare. Right? Whatever it is. But what it is that love, right?
Can I ask you something here? Just a quick one. You mentioned the tragic love. Why do they say falling in love? Why do people fall? Why do they call, what's this going on, falling in love?
Hi. Sidi Maulai, Tanu Allah ajar de, Allah karam farmaye. Mashallah. Are yaar, true love is when you don't know where it's coming and clobbered you and how it's clobbered you, right? That's true love. Because when love hits you, you're down. You could be the most strongest man on earth. You could be the most powerful human being on earth. You could be emotionally thinking to yourself, I have immense control over my state. And suddenly, bam, straight down. You think, Ya Allah, ye kyun hai? It's completely Allahu Akbar. That's why falling down or falling in love, it's a whole process, Akhil Aziz.
Yes, right? It's a process.
It's a process. Body, mind, soul, sense, belief, concept. You could be the most richest human on earth, but you'll fall. fall for maybe a man or a woman of a complete different social status. It has no boundaries at all.
True. I just wanted to just carry on with your point there, that we have to define love first, and we have to understand the concept of love, because our viewers will be tuning in and thinking love as in husband and wife or girlfriend, boyfriend. That's what they're talking about. That love that we've picked up, like you said, from our background, from our society, from our upbringing, from the TV, the movies, everything. So we have a picture, an image and concept in our minds of love. But there is a real love, and there's what we may consider a sort of passionate love, this desirous love. So the love we want to talk about and the love we do want to deal with is all love, inshallah ta'ala. Right? The love of everyone.
No, I don't disagree, but the thing is, there has to be some separation here.
There has to be
there has to be clear separation here. Look, Aziz, look. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Mubarak sallim. You have, because you can have discussion of love and lust.
Yes.
Okay? There's a clear difference between this. Okay. Lust is a state of your emotions and feeling of one particular thought and reflection is based upon your carnal desire of an individual towards an individual. That's what lust is. And it only lasts until that carnal desire is fueled and is burning. Love is what's left after that.
This is good. This is good.
जेले ओ लस्ट दी आग थोड़ी सी बुझ जाए ना
जी,
जेरी अगली गल है ना, that's love.
Yes.
Where you have full control of your, we think, because love plays with all that anyway. All right, because you also have to understand intimacy is an essential, important part of human development. All right, it's part and parcel. All of these chemicals in our bodies and feelings and thoughts and whatever they are, right? It's part and parcel. So it's a cocktail of emotions and feelings and chemicals, right? Now, but there has to be differentiation, because when I say, with young men, they have this thing, or walk it down and say, oh, I love her. Oh, I think she's beautiful. Oh, I love her. Oh, I think she's amazing. I could fall in love with her. No, that's not love. That's lust. That's lust.
But the other way around as well. Ladies say this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Alhamdulillah, it works.
I know. They're not spoken to me, but I just to let you know, and our listeners know, I was speaking to a person who sells certain products, and on his products he advertises men and the pictures basically. And he said, Shaykh, you should know this. I was like, okay, tell me what's going on. He goes, ladies come to me and they say to me, why do you have this advertising? You know how hard it is for us. I was like, what do you mean hard? Because they look at these pictures and they feel the lust towards I was like, really? I was like surprised, because I'm obviously aware of how ladies feel. But he goes, no, this is it works both ways.
Of course it does.
Ladies and men lust towards others.
But research shows, if you look into the psychology,
research shows, go ahead.
If you look into the psychology of this, all right, what you find is that men are much more visual.
Okay.
Women are much more emotional.
Okay.
So when a woman goes for a guy, it's emotional based, right? They look at this. This is
a general terms.
Yeah, on a general basis. Social status. Social status. They look at what type of father he's going to be, what type of partner would he be caring, would he be loving, would he be all of this, right? Whereas a man, the first thought and reflection isn't that. First says, oh, she looks nice, she's beautiful, her physique is nice, her hair is nice, her eyes are nice. Do you understand? It's different. Men are much more visual. We are much more visual creatures, right? And in that sense, people would say we're much more shallow in that sense. Okay.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
the point.
Yeah. But whereas women look one step beyond that. There's no doubt they like the physical form of a man. The sense of if a man is much more, they have this thing that if a man is built or is much bigger,
hench.
they want to hench or whatever. I just use that word hench. All right. And the woman feels, what does woman feel? She feels secure around him. She feels safe around him. She feels that, he will protect me in a difficult position or time or whatever, right? He will do this. So this is the basic psychology of how the both work, right?
Okay.
But talking about lust, talking about this desire for the other, this wanting and this attraction, Look, it's only an X and Y, isn't it? X and X and X and Y. That's what we are.
Yeah.
So exactly. If you look at our chemicals, they're not that different in that sense.
Yeah.
But like I said, psychologically, we work slightly differently. This is why when this is a whole area of discussion, conversation around why a man could hold 2 or 3 or 4 wives or partners, right? Whereas for a woman, it's much more difficult in comparison. Because what she does is that she concentrates upon the one individual, whoever that is, right? And I don't want to use the word sacrifice, but she fully, completely puts her eggs into one basket. That's what she does, right? This is why when we speak about, we're going to talk about this. It's called the language of love. Okay, it's called the language of love. That everyone has their own language of love. Right, you can do this online. These are psychological, websites where they have certain exercises and etc. that you can do. All right, which tell you and inform you of the language of your partner, your wife, your husband, what works for them, because everyone is different. Now, what works for me doesn't work for my wife. What works for my wife doesn't work for her brother or sister. Right. Everyone is slightly different. Okay, for example, I might be much more emotional based. Someone else might be much more about physical, all right, affection, showing affection, right? Someone else might be more based upon physical, giving them presents, right? You have to physically present something to them.
Conversational, they want to hear, talk more.
There, you said it. Someone's a conversational. Someone's like, look, in a day, I need 10-15 minutes of your time just to offload what the hell is going in my heart. That's the language of love, right? And the person who's listening to them, in this case, whoever the spouse is listening to them, they fall in love with them. Because the world is not ready to listen to them. They are. They're ready to give them time. They're ready to listen to their pain. They're ready to listen and engage with their difficulty. Sometimes they don't want an answer. They just want someone to have a conversation.
To be there for them. Yeah.
That's it.
To support, to be there.
That's what it is.
Show them that there is somebody who cares,
True. And see alhamdulillah, because I mentioned
carry on.
Because I mentioned Romeo and Juliet. All right, because what needs to understand is in our culture, I'm talking about in our mainstream cultures, right, societies and etc. There are particular stories of love and romance, all right, which have become folk tales, right, which are based upon realities. Like, for example, within our world, when I say our world, I mean from the Asian subcontinent world, you have the likes of Hiranya, right? A very emotional, tragic romance in Punjab, all right, that takes between this lady and this man, right? So others are like Soni Maiwal, right? Sasi Punno. Okay, now there's poetry on this. It's unbelievable how much is written upon this relationship, right? And then of course the famous Layla Majnun. See Layla Majnun, the Layla being the dark and the mysterious, right? And the beautiful dark woman, alhamdulillah. And then Majnun, the madman who's in love with her. Okay, now what needs to be understood is that we have, when we discuss and converse about this, Shar'an.
Yes.
What needs to be understood is that we're not talking
Shar'an meaning according to Sharia.
According to
Islamic guidelines.
Islamic guidelines and etc. We're not talking about this type of lust and etc. outside of a particular structure that has been provided. In this case, we call something called marriage, for example.
Yeah.
Zawjiyah, or a zawaj, or being in a state of marriage and etc. Because this is really complicated, because for a lot of us in our culture, in our communities, right, and especially we are living as Muslims within a Western context, and the concept of free love, which came out of the 60s, okay, the hippie movement that took place, free love, now that has seeped through into our cultures as well. Okay. Now we may close our eyes and say, oh, this is not happening and that's not happening. There's a lot happening, But because we have some cultural restraints or religious restraints, we don't talk, we don't discuss, or our youngsters won't mention that. But you and I, Shaykh, we have both worked in settings with youngsters, right? Young people, young men and women in colleges and universities. You know, we've had the opportunity to engage with them. We've had the opportunity to work with people on the streets and etc. People who come to us, alhamdulillah. And there is always this tussle, this struggle. But I love this girl. I'm madly in love with her. Do you know what I mean? Why won't they let me marry her? Why won't they let me have her? Right? The woman is like, I love this guy. I want to run away with him. I want to be with him. Do you know what I mean? What are they doing to me? Why are they saying that you have to pack up your bags? Same with the guy. It happens like, pack up your bag and go back home. Or you're going to pack your bag and you're going to go to someone else's home. This is how it's going to be. No. We need to clarify all of that. That when you have these emotions and feelings and, this type of state of mind and whatever, ya Shaykh ya Mawlai, one of the key things what needs to be understood where Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam has clearly stated, Ya ma'ashar al-shabab. Ya ma'ashar al-shabab. Ya ma'ashar al-shabab. I'm saying it 3 times. The Prophet said it once. Right? All young men and women. All the youngsters. Those of you who can support a wife. Man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj. That those of you who can financially support, get married. Get married. Why? فَإِنَّهُ أَغَدُّ لِلْبَصَرِ. And indeed, what does it do? It lowers your gaze. وَأَحْسَنُ لِلْفَرْجِ. And it protects your, what? Your farj, your private parts. Now, but what does it say then? Prophet knew this. It's not possible for everybody to do this. But these feelings, this struggle between, I love her, or because they can't tell the difference between love and lust. Okay? And they're falling backwards, all right? Because they saw someone who was completely dazzled them. Oh, my God Almighty, she's got me right in my heart. Do you know what I mean, Sidi Malay? Right? Now, in that state, Rasulullah also knew this. Because Allah and Rasulullah know our nature. What does he say? وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ. And the one who does not have the capacity, who does not have the ability, right, to financially support, because it's a burden. It's a burden. To bring someone else into your life is not easy, man. It's hard. Wallahi, it is. Of course. Question is how much? We're not talking about someone who's living a $1 million lifestyle. You're going to bring it to a £100 lifestyle. Come on, that's ridiculous. There's no nafqa. There's no compatibility there.
Yeah.
So these things have to be kept in mind. But what I'm trying to say is in the before marriage, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam emphasizes that point. What does he say? فَعَلَيْكِ بِالصَّوْمِ. Upon that individual is that they keep a fast. فَإِنَّ لَهُ وِجَاء. Why? Because what does it do? It's the means of reducing sexual appetite and desire.
Yeah.
Now, متفقين عليه. Now this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sidi Mawlai, you know very well, alhamdulillah, it deals with a number of dimensions within marriage. What you should have, what you need, what's required. All right. It is about in the state of shababiyat, in youngsters, because the emotion, the feeling, the desires. All right. The fire is burning. Do you understand? But you have to work towards getting someone in your life. That's what this is saying. You need to work for it. And when you work for someone, oh my God, ya wallahi, what you get in reward for that is unbelievable. Wallahi, it's unbelievable. No words can express that. But if you can't, don't go around standing on, Vimy Road, right, and saying, oh, mashallah, I can look at a woman once. I'm allowed to see her once. Yeah, I'm allowed to see her one nazar. Oh, mashallah, very nice. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Oh, mashallah, very nice. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah.
Wimy Road is Wilmslow Road in Manchester, where generally people, especially Asians, Muslims of that background, they do tend to go there to, eat food. I'd say, good intention, but also see what else is going on. There's a few shisha bars down there. Yeah, sorry.
It could be Southall. Do you know what I mean?
It could be anywhere.
It could be County Road. County Road in Brooklyn.
Could But yeah,
How's it gonna
exactly.
improve it? I mean, it could be anywhere. What I'm saying
You
is,
mentioned a good point here. I think let's go towards the topic of marriage. Let's stick towards that side. And you mentioned the looking, right? So we know there's a hadith that where one of the companions got married to a lady, the nikah and stuff, and the Prophet asked, "Have you seen her?" And he said, "No." Really, the sound hadith? No, he said no. So the Prophet said, "Go and look at her." And what did he say in the hadith? فَإِنَّهُ أَحْرَى أَنْ يُؤْدَمَ بَيْنَكُمَا. This is the word, يُؤْدَمَ بَيْنَكُمَا. So let's go to this concept now of, obviously when you get married, so you're going to go and look. You need to look. It's without a doubt. Now, there is this tradition of you can't look, you can't, and scholars have actually discussed when the Prophet said, go and look at her, what are you allowed to look at? What exactly are you allowed to look at? Can you see her just hands and face, or a bit more, a bit less, and all these kind of discussions, alhamdulillah. But this is the point now that, can somebody go down to Windsor Road or Coventry Road or whatever in Southall or, in Bradford somewhere and start looking at ladies with the intention, I might marry her.
Let me use the word gawk.
Yeah.
No, that's not what this hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam
that's not what it's
saying.
about.
In fact, the individual in question at this moment was a Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam who stated his desire to marry her. Right? He expressed
clear, focus on that particular issue. There was no other kind of
no, there wasn't
motive. Yeah.
Yes. Now, this is very important. Now, naturally, right, every person that you're going to see, right, there has to be a sense of differentiation. Okay, is that a state of lust or is that a state of genuine love? Right? That is left to the individual to deal with. Like I said,
we can't judge people. We can't go around in police and say, what's in your heart? What's in your heart? Why are you looking for? What are you looking for?
Correct.
We've got to leave that to the person.
Correct. So what is within your heart and your mind, you are not accountable for. Al-hukm al-shari'a al-zahir. The hukum of Sharia is upon the apparent. Okay? Not the internal state. Okay? And that's a beautiful thing. If we
were
not
accountable for in this world, we can't take you to account. Said Umar said, we rule according to the zawahir, the outer forms. And we leave Allah to the sara'ir. We leave the secrets to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And
that's between you and Allah.
That's you and Allah. And this is our usul. This is within our usul.
Yeah, that's right.
Within the concept. So alhamdulillah. So first and foremost, your intention has to be clear around this.
That intentions are important. I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, the person that you are going to see, there has to be a sense of this is called khitbah.
Yeah, right? the khitbah period, the engagement period.
The engagement period, right?
Yeah.
Where you have the opportunity to see this woman. Of course, you're allowed to see her face. You're allowed to see her hands. You're allowed to see her feet. Okay, that's significant reasons why. Because if you see her face, that shows her beauty. If you see her hands, that shows you her form. If you see her feet, you see how strong she is as a woman. Because one of the intentions of zawaj or zawjiyat is if Allah bestows this, Allah gives you this, is to have children. Understand? So all three of these have there's wisdom behind that. Right? You will find much more detail of discussion of ulama, why this is and why this is and what this is and how this is. They discuss that in more detail, but I've taken a few just to give you an example of why these three. Now, what needs to be understood is that within the world that we live in, okay, there is a concept of I want to get to know this person. Right?
Without a doubt,
Yeah,
that's one of the questions we had. That how do I know I love somebody before I marry them? How do I know that there's a genuine feelings? And I think that is the culture that we come from. That you have to find the genuine feelings, and after being together for 5-10 years, and then you make the decision. And if not, you break it off and you move on. That's what is the culture we live in.
It is. Amullah, you're right. And the thing is, sadly, this is the sad truth here, that in our cultures, certain things have seeped in. In fact, even within the Western culture, within the Western hemisphere, arranged marriages was part and parcel of the norm.
Yeah, I mean, let's explain arranged marriages, because people hear the word arranged marriage, they might, by mistake, go to the concept of a forced marriage, let's say.
Yeah, we'll separate. We'll create separation
to a marriage without any consent, let's say. Right, so we've got to be clear.
Of course,
words,
inshallah ta'ala. So here, let's just drive our attention towards this. So types of marriages and relationships, right?
Okay, good.
So you have something called arranged marriage. An arranged marriage, right, is a marriage with the arrangement of family and friends, right, who may choose a person for you, which you have consent in agreeing or disagreeing with. In other words, it's been chosen by someone else.
Yeah.
Right? Now, let me just throw something in here, which is important to understand, is that usually we associate arranged marriages with family, friends, people, other people. Right? Other people. Right? Oh, and we associate it with, pack my bags up and let's go back home. Right?
That is the common concept.
And let me share something with you.
You're going to go to wherever it is you're from, and you're going to just sign the papers, and all of a sudden you're married.
55%.
No one, you didn't make a decision.
Mola, 55% of Pakistanis in this country are married to their cousins.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not even talking about the Indians here. I'm not talking about Bengalis here. They have their own statistics with that.
Right.
Yes, they do. Right? And it's high percentages. It's a high percentage.
Very high.
Very high percentage. All right. So that tells you the type of culture, type of background, all right, why our mindset are embedded in a certain negative aspect of what arranged marriage is. Right? Whereas if you look at the definition of arranged marriage, it is of other people coming, suggesting a potential for you. That's what this is. So let me throw this in. It is just like, for example, you have the online world. Okay, you have the Muzmatch, you have the Single Muslim, you have the Shadi.com, you have the Muslima.com, you have all of these, which I call them digital anti-G matchmaker.
The digital anti-G matchmaker. At your fingertips.
Yes. All right. Now, some of these, especially when you talk about this on these type of platforms, or when you discuss and cover, they go, "Oh, the thing is, within America, within Europe, within Britain, and now in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in numerous Arab countries, the statistics clearly show that high percentage, and I'm going into 50s and 60s here, who are trying to find spouses through these digital aunties. Right?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're not just going around, some family member, etc., has chosen someone for them. No, they are also doing the same thing. They are choosing someone for you. You are getting the opportunity. Of course, in this world, you have this whole swipe world. What that has done to us is that it has messed up our taste buds. That's what it's doing. Our eyes are always hungry. Our fingers are always, I don't like this. I don't want this. Don't like this. Don't want this. There's a misunderstanding that people think the institute of marriage, right, is on the verge of ending. No, it's not. All statistics show that's not true. What it shows is commitment. Our problem is we can't commit. That's our problem. In fact, older generations, right, and especially when you talk about arranged marriages, in arranged marriages, there's a much higher percentage of people who stay together, unlike love marriages. Whereas our love marriage is simply where a girl, boy meets girl, fall in love. Then there's a struggle. There's a struggle of getting married. The whole Romeo and Juliet story starts. Right?
It does. Yeah.
That's what happens. With that, what happens is that once that particular fire of lust or love or whatever you are calling it diminishes, then you're left with who? Only them two people.
That's right.
So there is no glue, there's no pressure, there's no one else around you to keep you together. Then you start realizing, Mare, I don't like the way he dresses. I don't like the way he eats. He goes all the time. I don't like the way she talks to me. When she opens that mouth, yar, I feel like pulling fingers into my ears. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah.
These are realities. These are realities.
Jela o kya hane surki powder lena na.
Yeah. Honeymoon period ends.
Ula hakikat nazar aayi jani.
No, but this is the thing that is what it is. There's no such thing as fairy tale or wonderland for the rest of your life. This is realities that you got to deal with, which is human. Everyone's got human nature to them, and that's actually a beautiful thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm married and I've been through it all, but I think at a young age, young people think it's going to be a fairy tale on a honeymoon for the rest of life. That's it. Once we get married or finally, find someone, it's never going to be anything like a sad day or something.
Hazrat, have you heard of Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gam?
Bilkul.
Bhagwan, Allah maaf kare. Mohabbatein. This is messed us up. This is really messed us up.
It has.
All right. These type of things and these type of observations or movies or whatever has been created for us, right? It has taken and the reality out of what that situation is.
Yeah.
That's what's happened. And of course, now let me say this at the same time as well, that love. Sidi, do also check the comments or something as well, inshallah. I think it's a number.
Yeah, I will do, inshallah.
So, just one thing I want to say, that Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Habib Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Habib Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi barik sallim. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Habib Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi. I was going to share something with you. It's just slipped my mind. Allahumma salli wa sallim.
While you're thinking, can I just bring in a few questions? There's some here, but there was a few that were posed earlier. That I just want to bring in at the moment. One was we talked about a little bit, how do I get to know somebody in Islam? How do I, the question was, how do I fall in love or know I love someone or have genuine feelings within an Islamic framework? Obviously, like we mentioned earlier, there's things we hear, Romeo and Juliet, there's things we read, we see on TV, but what is the Islamic guidelines? How within the boundaries of Islam, the Shari'ah method of getting to know somebody, what is allowed, what isn't allowed? It's a very common question we've been getting. So maybe deal with it. And if you remember what you wanted to say, just jump into that as well, inshallah.
I will do, inshallah.
So where would we start on boundaries? I think we talked about the looking. Before you're married, maybe I'll just mention this point. Before anybody's married to anyone else, and we're talking here about somebody obviously who's a stranger to you, who you're looking to get married to, both male to female, male to male, both ways, like for both sides of the equation. You're only allowed to look at and see that which anybody else is allowed to look at and see at that time. There's no special rules if you're looking to get married to say you can see anything extra, let's say, anything different. Take off your hijab for me. No, that kind of stuff, is not allowed, right? We can't break those things down unless you go ahead and do the nikah. That's after the nikah. So like you said earlier, there's purpose in looking at the face, the hands, the build. You can look at a lady as in the full body, her standing up, sitting down, moving around. That's not a problem, but within obviously that. So in terms of looking at someone, and the same like I said for the male, female to the male, same thing. You can't go beyond that which is legislated before marriage. There's no special rules for the engagement period that changes that particular one. I think that's pretty easy to clear up. Unless you got something to mention on that.
No, I just want to put this in because the thing is that
go ahead.
There have been people who especially if they get married to certain cultures and whatever it is, they go, I would like you to have a blood test.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit extreme, but people have done that.
No, I've come across that.
Some people have said, I want a particular. I want to know if you can have children.
That's common. That's not uncommon either.
If you can have, there are certain things which have developed and evolved over time. Okay, which per se is, what are you saying?
Yeah, you didn't sound like this,
right? It's a sense of but I need to know, have a surety of this. Okay, especially around when it comes down to arranged marriages, right? This tends to be discussed even more, right? But let me share something with you. Ikhwan wa akhawat, our elders and youngsters, Allah ni deen hai. Awlad is Allah ni deen. Even if you get 100% confirmation that the person is not barren, right? The man has the ability to have children. That doesn't mean that the man or the woman will have them.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, because this is the deen of
guarantees.
They said there's no guarantee. This is deen of Allah subhanahu. This is why when we say every child is a miracle, because there is a miracle.
There is, yeah.
It is a miracle. That's exactly what it is.
It's the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
It's the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He chooses, He gives. Right? So to go into that much nitty-gritty and to go into that, people start feeling, wow, minute, you're getting into something which is uncharted water. It says our izzat now. Right? Shariat is very careful about this. Shariat creates limitations around this. It has given you the capacity, ability to ask questions. We spoke about one of the ways to get to know someone is to have a whole chaperone system. Okay, we have, like, you can take your sister with you, or you can take your auntie with you, or you can take your brother with you, or you can take with you whoever. Do you understand? Who's there as a third person, or someone who is respectable and honorable in that environment. For example, an imam or an imam.
Yeah, people do ask. I don't have anyone. I'm a convert. I don't have any family members. I'm away from my home. I'm traveling. I'm a student. So then you have to get involved the wider community, like you said, elders, respectable people. That's right. And so forth. Yes,
that's right. Now, so that's the honorable and respectful way to get to know someone. Now, look, we're not naive. We're not stuck in boxes, all right, somewhere. We also know people get to know each other through universities. They get to know each other through colleges.
They meet up privately. We can't deny that today. Yeah.
Now, what we're going to say to you today is this much here.
Yeah.
Wherever there is a man and a woman, bil hadith of Rasulullah the third is a shaitan. Yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas. And they whisper into the chest of men and women. Okay? Yeah. Be careful. One of the key things which has to be looked at, and Sidi Mawla, I think this is a whole area of discussion around the real balance between lust and love, right? And how to deal with the whole lust side, because you don't suppress that, you manage that. It's very different. It's management of lust, not suppression of lust. It doesn't work like that, because it's a natural phenomena. It is part and parcel of you and I, right?
Yeah,
there's a different. Yes. So anyway, that needs to be, I think, is something, an area that we need to discuss and converse, maybe at a later period. But at this moment,
I get what you're saying.
Inshallah. But at this moment, especially we're talking about before, and like you said, we're not naive. We're not saying, oh, we don't know, and this is all. No. What we're saying is, be careful in them situations, right?
So these young people do know this. When you've said it, they know this. They're listening. They're going to be told. They'll still continue to do it. They'll still continue to, exchange pictures on WhatsApp, let's say. They'll communicate on messages. And they will obviously say things and show things that they will not disclose to anybody. They wouldn't. And they're not married, I'm talking about here. We're always talking about the boyfriend-girlfriend stage, as they call it, right? Or as we're calling it, the engagement period. But it sometimes doesn't go lead to anything. It's just a bit of fun sometimes. And I think this is my experience. And, what I want to say to everyone is we're all limited in our experiences, and we're not all know-it-alls, right? But in my experience, I have seen, and I've seen this firsthand, like I've spoken to individuals on both sides, the male usually takes advantage of the female, and takes it further and makes false promises and says, oh, we'll go to your parents. Oh, yeah, don't worry, it's all this, all good. Nobody will find out. And you can see, I think you mentioned this earlier, the visuals, this is what the man wants. He gets what he wants through that. I think the lady wants to meet more, speak more, and not a distant relationship. And this causes a lot of problems because this is all hidden, all secret. I think it's another topic in itself. I know what you're saying, but I think it's something we can't just ignore, and we can't give an overnight solution to either. It's something that's going to take a lot of time and addressing, and it requires the community, to be honest. It can't be.
It does.
You and I want to. It requires a lot of involvement from. I know the nature of technology today. These apps we talked about, these websites talked about, the availability of each and every one, the secrecy that's involved and easily doable. It really isn't conducive to a productive or a good base, a good foundation to build a good relationship on.
But Mullah, I still want to say this because, see, I looked into detail. I had to, because the nature of my field, my background of engagement with people, we live in the modern world. Right, we have to know what's going on. So I looked into detail about how these online, some call them dating apps, or some call them marriage apps, right? You work, okay? And alhamdulillah, majority of them, with the grace of God Almighty, the intention has always been clean. The intention has been genuinely to be digital auntie. Well, I'm not saying as a joke. I really mean that. Mashallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our aunties. Some of the good work that they do to get people together is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Alhamdulillah. Now, so they have this. So they even have a pretext. For example, many of them have access to, we're talking about the managers and the people, the CEOs and etc. They will have access to certain conversations. Okay. If there's an allegation, for example, right, that someone has shared something or said something out of context and place, they will look into that, right? They have access to all of that. So they will be like a chaperone system, right? That there will be a third person there, okay? If they're talking, they're discussing, it's generally clean, generally very open and very clear. You understand? They always do that. Whereas, for example, if a person goes from there and then gets the mobile phone number and then they start having a conversation separately, that's بينهم وبين Allah. That's between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then. This is why I'm emphasizing this point again. That ultimately it's about your respect for yourself. That's what it's about. Just be careful.
It's your personal choice and it's your respect. Just on that point, Shaykh Imran, I actually was involved in this, about a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, and sat down with some individuals and came together with a alternative method. It's there's many services out there, but we set up a service called Sacred Vows.
Oh, mashallah.
And this Sacred Vows is, we wanted a nice title for the whole procedure of an introduction service. So we call it an introduction service, where we introduce you to some suitable individuals and so forth. So this started off a bit manual, NTG style, and I did this, along with some other people. And we
you were an NTG.
Yeah, we did this. Yeah, confidential, and confidentiality, all this kind of procedure. Nobody knew who was who. If they felt like this was a worthy contact, then we'd get them in contact. It was a bit tedious to begin with because it's hard work. And like somebody said, the entities do great work. They do amazing work. Trust me, it's life consuming. Right? It was just really tough. Anyway, so we realized it's just not. This is hard work. So we went to the next stage, which was we developed a website. So there's actually a website called sacred-vows.co.uk, which you can see in the link description, below here. So you want to click on there if you're interested. And what we did was we kept something very crucial on top of this, record keeping, and there's always, there are always a certain amount of people, staff, and admin that are on call or available or will check. But what we did was we made everyone sign up with their parents or chaperones or mahram. Phone number, email, and we send a notification to that email, that phone number, that you're so and so, you've been chosen as a mahram, because we don't know what relationship it would be. Generic kind of email saying yours. So it was a family involvement. It was all above board. No secret website thing, and no release of numbers occurs until both sides have a look. So you can see the profiles, you can see the details. They're filling a questionnaire. The algorithm kind of matches you to whoever might be suitable. These algorithms, I don't know how much they mean, but all the websites work with them. So we kind of invested in that. It cost a lot of money to build the website as well, several £1,000s, probably more than that now. And eventually, alhamdulillah, we've had several marriages, many marriages actually, probably 30, 40, 50. We lost count now, which is good. We don't want to keep counting. Although for statistics and marketing, it's a good idea to count. I think they've got the details. But if you're interested, this is one method. It's not a famous worldwide. We've got several hundred people on the database, so there is opportunity. It's growing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. It's being advertised out there. We've had a meet and greet event actually in Manchester. We actually got people together, got families together. They sat down, they met people, they were matched with. They had like 2 or 3 meets on the day. They talked and so forth. So we're trying. Many people are trying. You and I were talking earlier before today about certain masajid, certain areas of the UK that are doing really well in this regard. They've even been on television about the work they're doing and stuff. So what we'd like to say is, yes, it's between you and Allah, whatever happens, and we can't really do much more than that. We pray for everyone's well-being and izzat and respect, but we would encourage you to take some form of facilitation, procedure, organization, and get involved with someone, because all these people, and like we were talking about, they do have a genuine concern. whether it's the elder generation, whether it's the coming up and coming generation, whoever's dealing with the one main thing you see with all of these people, alhamdulillah, is they genuinely want to help others in this field. They genuinely want to help others find someone suitable, find someone who's compatible, and they can have a good life with, and etc. Because it is difficult. We're talking about the love and stuff, and I think one thing we've got to recognize, it is getting difficult. It is getting, I'd say, not difficult in the sense that what you said actually earlier, it's becoming very hard and I'd say somewhat on a genuine level as well to commit. You see everything. You see everything. Tick box. The Prophet even said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if everything's good and you're approached, and there's no reason to say no, and you say no, there's going to be trouble.
This is
there's going to be trouble.
The male
but the people still will say no. They'll say, "Oh, dil with gal, something inside. What's going on."
This is the problem. A suitor, male suitor, goes to the father of the father of the girl. This is the hadith. And if the guy, if the father simply cannot see anything wrong with him, dinan, religiously, character-wise, get to know the guy. Do you know what I mean? Question the guy, question the people around him, right? Find out. Then you've tied your camel. Now leave it in the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. That's the hukum, isn't it, Sidi?
You don't. On this regard, when I was studying in Syria, I had friends from around the world, and I had friends from South Africa, and the Muslims have been there a lot longer than we've been here in the UK or maybe other Western European parts of the world. And he was saying to me that it's very common in South Africa for someone like himself, talking about himself, he was young and single like I was back then. And we were talking about marriage, everybody talks about marriage when they're not married. And then they don't want to talk about marriage when they are married. It's a funny world.
Sidi, you, not me.
No, of course. Yeah, of course. You love talking about marriage, of course, mashallah. It's a beautiful communion. Anyway, so he's saying to me that, in South Africa, I don't think it's the whole South African culture, but it's something very common now, that if a young man has met somebody at college, university, or whatever, he just goes and knocks on the door and speaks to the dad and says, I'm the son of so-and-so, this is who I am, this is what I am, and I'm interested in, your daughter. And this is how I found out from you. They don't hide it. They don't have this fear. But I think if you jump to the UK now, Europe, I think this is very, very rare that you might see a young man, even dare talk about it to anybody other than his mates about this feeling he's got or potential he's seen. And he might be genuine as well. It's not just lust we're talking about love now, or possible prospect for future. And she might see someone, and what does she do now? So I think are we putting barriers up, or are we keeping barriers up? I don't know how to put it. Are we making it more difficult?
Now, Maulana, I think one of the questions was that, isn't it? Do I need the consent of my parents or my guardians, right, around nikah and etc. stuff like this? Of course, there's a few hadiths around la nikah illa waliyin. That there is no nikah without a wali, right, of the woman that represents her, who gives her away. Of course, that is predominantly about Bakira, a woman who's a virgin, who's not been married before, and etc. But that is if she's a soba, a woman who's been married before, do you understand? She has a say in how she says. Well, even a Bakira has the say. A virgin woman also has a say, who's never been married before, has a say. She has to, especially in nowadays, our scholars emphasize that point. Now,
in the past, it was more their silence or their smile or their crying. If you read the books of fiqh, says if she cries, it's a consent. If she cries, it's consent. You can cry out of happiness.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, now, of course, the ulama, mashaykh, and etc. have accrued on to say, 1 minute, I need to find out.
Exactly. That's different.
Yeah, I need to find out. We need to know.
By the way, that's not Sharia. Like, there's not hadith. That's just what was the culture of the time.
It is culture, and you adapt to that. You adapt
exactly. So now today, people speak. People don't hold things back, and that's good. That's what we live in. And today we need communication. It's very important to communicate.
In the same context, Akhil Aziz, especially we're talking about the boy now. Now, this is a whole area which has become a problem, because our fathers didn't do that with their fathers, and their father didn't do that with their fathers, and their father didn't do that with their fathers.
Yeah,
we don't do that with our fathers. We don't talk about.
No, you see, I actually know an individual, also a local, and he said that somebody approached him regarding his daughter, and he said, "Okay, have you got a job?" He didn't say, "Okay, Bigharat, you're phoning me." He said, "Have you got a job?
Yeah.
Can you look after my daughter? Have you got accommodation?" He just went to the points, like you said. Can you do this? Ba'a, have you got the ability to look after my daughter, basically? And he said he didn't have it at the time, but he goes, "No, I'll make sure I get that." He got that done. He came back and he goes, "I've got the ability." He goes, "Take care." nikah ho gaya. I'm telling you, it's happening now. It's changing slowly.
Inshallah. Allah gives
inshallah.
Ta'ala.
But this is the thing now. If we're saying this, we need to say it more, I suppose, and reach out to the parents to say, look, this is how we need to start communicating. Because if we don't do this, then that's when they go and do them WhatsApping, private conversations, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger. It's because we're not allowing them to open up to us or to someone in the family, and it's considered backwards, but it's considered a lack of honor, or how dare you have this? How who are you to It's just. I think we're forcing people into a corner somewhat.
But what needs to be understood, Akhil Aziz, is that this is when I said to you the statistics. There's 55-56%.
Yeah.
Pakistanis were married to
the 45
cousins, right? Now all the rest of them are third cousin, fourth cousin, but might be like this. There's other percentages as well. But what I'm trying to say is that it's the mindset that has been created, right? We have this thing. Sade kabile nani asani rakhna.
We haven't touched upon that, but that's a big thing.
It's not on the same financial status,
the
position.
Tribalism,
That's right, tribalism. Family nahi hai, yani chaudhry nahi hai, jat nahi hai, ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai. Do you understand? There's that issues. Now within Shariat, when I say Shariat, I mean because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? When Hazrat Bilal radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, right, went to the home of someone that he wanted, right? What did the father do? The father had the same problem. Akhil Aziz, he had the same problem. That this African gentleman has come to my home. But of course, when she heard that Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala came, and because of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam giving him advice to go there, what did she say? If the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this, I am yours. Now, sometimes this is the thing. This is when we talked about culture and stuff like that. It's not culture. It's usually personal egos.
It is,
that's what
it comes from the cultural setting, let's say.
Certain aspects. But the problem is that once, like you said, like mashallah, you gave a beautiful example of a father who said, okay, are you financially capable to keep my daughter happy? He goes, I'm not at the moment. I'm going to go sort myself out. He sorted himself out, mashallah. And mashallah, he gave him his daughter away. Now, he still had the right to ask that.
Yeah.
That's not to ask. Because that's what the Shariat says. It's not about Lat, Bat, Zat. It's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with that at all. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you someone who's honorable, who's righteous, who's understanding, and find out about the person, man or the woman, all right, it can't belie what type of person they are in society and community. And according to that, you do what you do. Now, Sidi Mawlay, I think one of the areas that was discussed or requested, all right, was showing love and affection.
Right.
Is
this before marriage or after marriage?
This is before after marriage, right? I think because
what's the question then?
The question was around how do we show love and affection towards our partners?
Okay, before we come on to that, can I just go to this question here?
Yes.
It says, please, Brother Sajjad Hussain, may Allah bless him and ennoble him and protect him. He says, can I please get your advice, brothers? I'm with a lady, a woman, and want to get married, but parents don't agree as she's Christian. What the best step to take? I think it's a genuine question. I think it arises that we live in a society where we have the other religions, and we are allowed, obviously the males are allowed to marry females from the Judaism and Christianity. So if a man decides to do that, there are obviously rules regarding that, but it's allowed, let's say. What advice would you give this brother in this situation?
So his main concern, of course, is that his parents are not agreeing. Yes, is that what it is?
That's what he's saying, yeah.
Now, per se, the marriage to a Christian woman, Shara'an, is acceptable. Okay, there's no issue around that, qualm around that. There are certain scholars who do debate this. What does that Christian mean? Are they the same Christians of the time of Rasulullah ﷺ? Are they of today? But the majority of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah are stand beside this. That they say the core aqaid of the Christians at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ are the same core aqaid of today, around the crucifixion, around the coming back of Jesus, around things like that, right? The idea of the Trinity, right? The concept of a Trinity was there from Prophet ﷺ, and it still is embedded within the Christians of today, right? So if these are the same, then what you find is that the hukum around this will be the same. Marrying someone from the Ahlul Kitab, from the Yahud and Nasara, will be accepted, without any questions around that. Okay. Now, because what also needs to be understood is that understand what type of Christians there are. Right? Now, there are, of course, Christians which are, I'll give you some example, like the Latter-day Saints. Okay. The Latter-day Saints, amongst their own Christians, they are seen as the outsiders, because they believe in a bunch of other prophets other than Jesus as well.
Oh, wow.
Mormons.
Oh, right? Yeah, I've heard of it.
So there's controversy between them. Now, they are one group, for example, will be seen as, no,
I don't think they're considered Christians by Christians, actually.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, for example, if there's that type of person, that type of individual, right, they need to justify, clarify that what they believe is around Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. Okay, that needs to be clarified. Anyway, that's one area of discussion. Now, his concern.
So one important area, just to make that point to our listeners, I think people jump this step, which I think you've already done well, is to actually clarify. Okay, what do you mean Christian? What do you mean? Because we can't marry Christians, but in Islam and even in Christianity, there's Christian, and then there's so-called Christian. There's unorthodox, the outside even of the frame of Christianity, or they claim to maybe follow Jesus or Bible, because there are religions or whatever movements that use the Bible as a book, but actually not Christians anymore. They've left. So we can't marry those people because they've left actually the definition of Christian and so forth. The second step here that he's asking about is how to, the parents, and obviously they're not comfortable with this. And what about this?
I myself, Akhil Aziz, have been in a similar situation. Now, here I'm going to speak to you from the basis of my personal experience around this issue. Yeah. First things first. The sentiments, the concerns, the fears, the worries of parents are genuine. You need to clarify that first, because their concerns are 1001. They have a concern around bande ke aksan, culture ke aksi, bande, community ke aksi. Okay, we had, and some of them, because they had promised, their sister or their brother, or whatever they had done, which was wrong for them to do, but they had done it, they feel that, that's going to tamper with, that's going to affect with their relationship with them. Okay. And it can also be a reason behind it, because they say, Gori nal karan laga hai, Kali nal karan laga hai, Pili nal karan laga hai, Duani nal karan laga hai, or whoever it is. Do you know what I mean? They don't know who that person is. They will say 1,000 different, things to that person, to that lad, right? The problem with that is what's been embedded into the heart and mind over the decades. We may agree or disagree with this. Our problem is there is a sense, and I'm going to be very clear about this. I'm going to be careful as well. There is this sense of supremacy in us as well. We have this problem. We have this thing, she's not part of my culture, she's not part of my religion, she's not part of this. Whereas our Shariat is giving ijazat over this, we see them as hakir, lower. There is that as well. So, in my personal experience, I want to share this with you. By understanding the fears, the concerns, the worries of the parent, that is the first step of slowly making them understand. This is how this works. Sometimes that manner in the way the child, and usually it is the boy who's doing this, the manner in the way he's engaging with his parents is wrong. He's being a bit too pushy. He's being pushy. He's being problematic. He's being, I will destroy everything, and I will leave the home, and I will do this if you don't do this. No. This is not the way of dealing with this. They're your parents. They love you. They have genuine concern for you. They have genuine fears for you. If you can't do it yourself, if you don't have the capacity, ability to have that discussion, then go to the next best person. Find people that can talk to your elders. Look, if you go to genuine ulama, mashayikh, who deal with this all the time, first and foremost, they will ask you questions. Right?
True.
Your head in the right place. I'm talking about the boy here now. Some of them I even say, look, I want to meet both of you. Because then the questions come, because you have not asked the question to your potential wife that you want, they'll ask it for you. Okay. Number 3. Then if there is a concern or a problem with your parents, they may even say to you, you know what, if you want me to talk to them, I'll talk to them. Now, sometimes that is a really difficult thing to do for a lot of people. But wallahi, when it's for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm telling you now, genuine people will do it. They will do it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive me if I say this, if I'm saying this out of context and out of place. I only share this. Wallahi, I only share this because of ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Go ahead.
Just for lesson. For lesson. So I've done something like that. Now, I would do that. I genuinely see genuineness in people. I strip down the palawa, and then I will genuinely have a conversation with the elders.
Good.
In their manner, in their tabiyat, and fully knowing the concern they feel. Because I'm a father myself. I'm a father of a daughter, even though my daughter's young yet. But I'm a father of a daughter. I'm already thinking, reflecting, okay, what if my daughter was in a position like that, of a suitor, etc. But if my position was,
I think that's just. I think that's the right way to go. To get more people involved is always good, and because they give you different angles, they give you advice, they can speak. You've got your emotions with you, your own personal biases. Obviously, you're focused on one goal, but somebody else can actually help you see things and help facilitate things. I think that's really, really good advice. Just to move on to a few more comments. ESK Vlogs, Brother Sarfraz from Dewsbury is giving you salam. He's asking for your permission to go. I think he's gone now. He's going to watch later. So is Sister Halima. She's asking if we're going to be putting the video up. Yes, we are. There's a question here. I can put it up on the screen actually for you there. It says, relationships are starting among children in secondary schools. How do you manage the young youth going through all this? Yeah, so premarital, again, now teenagers, emotions, crushes. Obviously, they want to do things. It's getting worse. It's getting tougher. It's getting more and more open. I think it's not as hidden as it was before. Communication's easier. So what do we do, Hazrat? What's the situation here?
In my personal experience, I'm a qualified youth worker, so I've had the honor to work in youth settings, youth environments, for mentoring, for referrals and places like that. All right, now relationships are important, and working on them relationships. I'm talking as a youth worker at this moment. I'm going to tell you as a youth worker. Now, my relationship with the youngsters that used to come there was a very open relationship, right? We play pool together, we have a laugh, a joke, how are you, okay, blah, 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 blah. But naturally, they knew that I'm an elder. I'm older than them, naturally. They knew that I of course, come from a certain, because weirdly, I used to teach my local masjid, qaida and everything in a class. Then I was, and then also go and do in the evening, do 1 or 2 hours in the youth club. Right? That's the time I was still training at that time. So many times my students in madrasa used to see me in the youth club. Right? Some of them were like, oh, Staji. So once they realized that I'm nowhere to go, I'm there. But then they saw a side to me which was like, oh, 1 minute, this guy's really down to earth type of character. He's chilled out with them. Right?
Alhamdulillah.
And Allah make it keep it like that, inshallah. Now, what would happen then is that they would, and I always say this to brothers, I always say to sisters, I always say to elders, that what work the youth worker is doing in reality should be the work of the parent or the brother or the sister or a cousin who should give that support to that young person. But in our communities, and I'm talking about in the larger community as well, I'm talking about the larger English Anglo-Saxon community as well. It's the same problem. They have the same problem. All right. Yeah. Anyway. So, what would happen is that they were very open in the discussion conversation, and that would give me opportunity.
Sorry to jump in here. I know speaking to youth workers, and I know a very good youth worker in Sheffield. But when I speak to him, and you probably know firsthand as well, he says there's no youth workers left. There's no funding. There's nothing. You're talking about a history now. What you're talking about is historical, isn't it? Don't tell us about history. What we're going to do now today? You're telling us about your time, but I'm telling you, I know this firsthand. He told me, he goes, the funding for youth working has just gone. And you won't hear youth worker, and I benefited from it. When I was at youth club, we used to go play pool and table football and all that. We used to enjoy it. Used to, go on trips as well and stuff. We used to take it at Alton Towers, and it was brilliant. It's like free trips or all this. Where's it all gone? Where's that avenue is not there anymore, Hazrat. So I know you're trying to say you need to speak to someone, or parents should have been doing that in the past, so they should be doing it now as well, right? But who is doing that? Who is having these conversations with these young people?
No. See, the thing is, in our community,
I think it's gone less.
It's gone less. But let me share something. We still have big brothers. We still have big sisters in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
We still have people that we approach. There are still people that we respect. I'll give you an example. There's
I know. Totally get your point.
We have in our communities, like we have youngsters, when they see that, brother Mo, brother Saj come down, bro.
The cool brother, the senior, brother, he's respected in the neighborhood.
Alhamdulillah. Now, this senior brother has probably gone through certain experience in life and accepted him or himself, and the sister has done the same thing. Now, it doesn't come, in our communities, it's not that they do not exist. These people do exist, alhamdulillah. I was giving my example because I was giving a first-hand example of, I saw the benefit of being that person, in that environment. I agree with you. The numbers have reduced. They've been, it's a tragedy, I think, of not having this. But at the same time, other people, alhamdulillah, the world we live in, other people take up responsibility. Alhamdulillah, we do have that. What I'm saying is that as parents, as elder brothers and sisters, as elder cousins, as chaches, as chachiyan, as mames, mamiyan, people like that, we need to step up into create
it goes back to our family unit discussion, doesn't it? That your uncles, aunties, cousins, elder brothers, and often, and this is a very good point you make, I think they spot it before the parents do. I think they see in the young person what's the matter. The parents see the person in the child day in, day out. But I think sometimes, not a blemish on the parents don't see that. Parents don't, it doesn't click anywhere. Whereas when it does, it's too late. When it's very deep into the whole situation. But I think an outsider, of somebody who visits every now and then, or somebody who lives down the road, can maybe pick up on something, or can hear something, or picks up on like a word or a sentence. Wait a minute, is this young person trying to reach out to me? Is this person got an issue? There's something up, basically. I think those people need to step forward, because we don't have youth workers are trained to do that. Youth workers like yourself, they were always that was their goal. Like, let's just talk to these people. Let's see what comes out of it. Let's see what they talk about. You start a conversation. Come out, drugs might come out of it. They might have been a knife crime. They might have been involved in. They might witness. You've heard it's horrific stories, as well as just everyday abuse and all that. But that's the goal. You had those convos. You had that platform, that space, that youth club, that area. I used to love the youth clubs, by the way, but they don't have them anymore now. They're all closed. So it's a tragedy, like you said. But now we need to somehow recreate that, or somehow I don't know what.
I know a number of masajid. Let me share something with you. I know down south.
The masajid need to open their doors to youth.
Yeah, even masajid, for example, there's a masajid in East London, which has which I'm not talking about last few years. We're talking about last 30 odd years. They've had a boxing gym there.
Excellent.
They have a boxing gym there. They have an employed coach, trainer, right? Which is independent from the masjid, but it comes under, the whole structure umbrella.
Yeah, no, obviously it's facilitated by the masjid, which benefits the masjid.
No, alhamdulillah, I know there are certain organizations within Manchester, they have tried to do that. I know, mashallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep protected all the brothers and sisters of guidance. Hope Allah make it easy for them, inshallah. They've tried to do alternative ways of engagement, story times, and get youngsters in and get elders in, and do martial arts, or things like that as an alternative. But the thing is, a lot of us, what we don't understand is, it's not about the activity, it's about the person who's doing the activity, right?
Definitely.
People find a kin with them, they create a relationship with them, they create an understanding with them, right? And through that relationship, it builds, and they see them as a father figure, they see him as an elder brother, they see him as an elder sister, they see him as a mother figure. Do you understand? That's how that works. Like, sometimes weirdly in the work that I do, a lot of characters, they see me as a father.
Yeah, no, they would,
And weirdly, I'm younger than them.
That's weird. That's weird.
It is,
If you had
but
said
it's
you were a
my
few
role.
years old, I would have accepted
Yeah,
it.
it's
But
my role
to
and
be
my
younger
position.
is crazy.
Yeah, it is,
A
but
younger
because
father,
they've
that's
never
a
had
bit
that. They've never had that.
inconceivable.
Yeah, but they've never had the opportunity. Understand? But once
True, true. I
again,
know what
I
you
want
mean.
to
I know what you mean.
emphasize it does start with the parents. Our beloved parents, we love you. Wallahi, we
Yep.
love you. Wallahi, we love you. For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are responsible for our children. Akrimu awladukum wa ahsanu adabuhum. Or kama
Yeah.
qala Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That you respect and love your children, and you are it's your and my responsibility to teach our children,
Yeah.
not some next man. If you feel inadequate, unqualified, not capable, guess what? Utlubul ilm min al mahdi ila lahad. Seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave, man. It's not too late.
Definitely.
You still
Thank you
have
for the
option.
answer to that question. And I think, there's a comment just come in saying thank you as well. So Jazakallah khair, Shaykh Imran. Just to wrap up, Hazrat, we've got a few more minutes. I think you wanted to make a few more points before we wrap up. If any questions come in, we'll go to them. But at the moment, I think we've addressed all the questions. But please, I think you wanted to go on to the showing affection and how do you do that as a couple, etc. I think if you talk about that, then we can maybe wrap up for today, inshallah.
Maulaya, if I humbly, Ba'adaban say something, if we could have another session.
Oh no, yeah, no, I think it's very important.
I want to delve into this in some detail, because I want to go into, I shared the stories of Romeo and Juliet and Hiranja and Sasipunnu and all of that, but there's a story of lovers which we don't talk about, no one sees it like that, which is the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha Siddiqa radhiyallahu anha. And of course we have the story.
We talk more about that.
Yes, and I want to, and I'm going to humbly request that we can have another session, and I want to, and we're going to answer the questions around showing love, affection, compassion.
So post marriage, the husband and wife interaction, affection, love, conversation, even
anger, frustration,
even jealousy, anger,
all of that,
competition.
Yeah. We will discuss and converse that, inshallah.
Inshallah, I think there's a lot to discuss on that. Definitely.
I want to, if it's okay, I want to share something.
Go ahead. You want to share this?
Yeah, which was sent to me just before before this session, inshallah.
Okay. Regarding marriage.
Yeah, marriage and until like this, which was sent. A message was sent to me. It's a bit of a reflective, and it's genuine. Somewhat one in it. Dil ke dard ko izhar karna. Izhar dil. Izhar dard dil. Expression of one's genuine pain of his heart.
Yeah. It's good.
So this individual has sent me this, and I took permission first.
Okay.
Right? I took permission first. I got, if it's okay, I'm going to share this, inshallah ta'ala. So I'm going to share this. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Many marriages in our culture are scarred by previous khandan issues. Many children born out of such marriages see here all the disputes and aggression, and inequate of all this and the quarreling between parents and uncles and aunties, etc. So it paints a very poor picture. Hence, many youth are naturally choosing their own partners and or the Western way, despite the grief that brings also. Many relationships are barely hanging on for dear life and are living through troubled times. Wider pressures are making for miserly and abusive relationships, which mostly lead to anxieties, stress, depression, and all sorts of mental breakdowns. The more successful and happy marriages that do last are rare, if we are all honest, to be honest. Many issues are brushed under the carpet by our community and imams and scholars. Putting out lovely Facebook posts doesn't wash. Sweet talk doesn't wash. Patience is a cheap get out and emotionally drilled into our people. I truly believe our lads, menfolk, don't know how to or care to look after our ladies who do so much for us all. Our men, lads, are emotionally weak. They don't know how to nurture love and relationships. Makes me cringe when I see how our lads and menfolk behave. Love is a swear word. Ya Allah. Love is a swear word. Macho images must change. We already have crisis on our hands. Do we really need to pile it onto the next generations? I truly believe most lads, menfolk, have a lot to answer for. We are great agony aunts, uncles, but if truth be told, we are paying lip service. Same is true when we discuss the plight of the Muslim world, petitions, a few protests, a regressive lambasting posts dissing the way Israelis and the capitalist system won't achieve anything. Calling for khilafah won't achieve anything. We have become a castrated ummah, numbed into sleep by our pacifist community leaders, imams and scholars. Islam is peace. Where has that got us in last few decades in the West? Changing mindsets of our people is a massive, if not impossible task. There is so much brainwashing and emotional blackmail around nurturing positive, loving relationships. No wonder our kids and generations look dazed and walk around zombies with no sense of identity. Prejudice and racism afflicts our people in abundance. Abuse of all types, and I mean all, especially sexual, pedophilic, are prevalent in our communities, but hidden and hushed up. Yet we all talk the talk and wax lyrical about the great personalities in Islam. You want my honest opinion, Hazrat? He wrote this. We have lost our way. We have lost this sense of jihad, spirit of jihad. The Western capitalist system and methodology has pierced our very inner core. Islam zinda hota hai har Karbala ke baad. When will we start to live this nara? My beloveds, some words here are very strong, but these are a gentleman's own emotions and feelings. This is his manner of expression. My manner might be slightly different, your manner might be slightly different. But what he's saying resonates, hopefully, with all of us. There's numerous things that he's touched on. And the conversation I had with him was that you were talking about the practical, physical sense here. And I said to him, my brother, Alhamdulillah, we are trying to be amongst those people.
Yeah.
Today we have chosen to talk about these different issues, different things, different concerns. Wallahi, I put my hand up, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of us, inshallah, and Akhal Aziz, Mawlai, especially yourself and all of the brothers and sisters that stand beside you, that the work which is done, alhamdulillah, all right, to support people, to help people, we are first doing the practical work. We're trying to embed things into people, trying to be physically there, and then talk to yourselves to inform you. ये करने पे हैं, साथ लगो
जी.
We're not only lip service.
No.
अमल से बनती है जिंदगी, ये जन्नत भी और जहन्नम भी, ये खाकी अपनी फितरत में ना नूरी है ना नारी. It is through actions that we become, right, the people, the actions that we become the residers of Jahannam or Jannat. This flesh, right, this clay is not fire and is not light. We become that through our actions. I agree. And I think there's a number of things that I'm going to, of course, go back to the brother, talk to him, discuss about, which we're going to do, inshallah. But I want you to share that sentiment,
Thank you for reading that. Thank you for sharing that. And if the brother is listening or is with us, then I'd like to concur with a lot of what was said in there, if not all of it, to be honest. And what I would like to say as well is we acknowledge this. I think everyone should acknowledge this, even if they don't, or they and there's no like, oh, why is he saying this, that for? I think what we need to understand is it's all genuine, all from the heart, and we need to respond, and we need to even if it's you and I do one step today, then there's another step from the brother here, there's another one from the sister there. If we all do our little bit, and it sounds very cliche, maybe, or very like, oh, it's just some kind of response. No, I'm serious.
Yes.
If we go home and just say to our wives, for those who are married, you look beautiful today.
Yes.
MashaAllah, you got a new perfume on today, and never perfume on. Just say it, for goodness sake. Right? Make them feel happy for the few minutes. They might go to sleep doing dua for you. You never know. Right?
Can I say something? My Shaykh, my own Shaykh, Hazrat Hashim Sahab.
MashaAllah.
We were sitting with them. They were sitting with them. One of the brother complained. He goes, Imam Sahab, घर वाली जो है ना, वो नाराज रहती है, पास होती नहीं है, काम बड़े खराब हैं. Wallahi. You know what Sahab did? He took out his phone, he dialed a number, and he put it to his ear, and he goes, Assalamu alaikum. We couldn't hear the other conversation. They go, Assalamu alaikum, कैसी हैं? ठीक हैं? सेहत कैसी रही? दिन कैसा रहा आज? ठीक रहा ना? माशाल्लाह. अल्लाह आपको अपनी हिफाजत में रखे इंशाल्लाह. हैं? फिर मिलेंगे, फिर बात करेंगे इंशाल्लाह. Assalamu alaikum. They phoned Amma ji.
MashaAllah.
They phoned their wife.
To everyone. As a lesson to everyone.
They phoned their wife. It was only about 7-8 were sitting there.
Okay,
and they phoned their wife. And they go. And do you remember, he was here. She's in India.
India, yeah.
But he said this, he goes, the whole day, she's going to be thinking about them words.
Yeah.
And he goes, all it took me was to find out how she was. Right? Yeah. That had more impact. And that was a lesson for all of us. At that time, I wasn't married at that time. But the brother who was saying this, he goes, maybe the problem is here and not there.
That's right, yeah. So I think that's a good one to finish on, actually. That this is a little step everyone can take today, is go home and say hello. Go say to your mom and dad, say, how are you? Are you okay? Everything well? Just saying something and acknowledging and having that genuine conversation may be the starting point for a lot of good within our families, within our communities. And that's the thing. I think this brother, whoever it is, maybe need to speak to him maybe on a personal level afterwards. I like these kind of people, because I always say to people like this, okay, Bismillah, you have this. Let's do something. I'm action as well. Let's do something, right? We speak, we do something. We organize something like the story nights, the family story, like we've talked about the youth projects, the parenting. We're going to, inshallah, with the COVID-19 coming, it hit us for 6 a bit. We were having some convos just before, as you know, and it kind of stopped us from carrying out a lot of projects and ideas we've had. But this is the thing.
Still are.
We've got people. We still are. I mean, we've gone online, we've gone here, and we are, alhamdulillah, we're using our time, and hopefully you're benefiting. So if you are, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being with us. Thank you, Shaykh Imran. And like I said, everyone can go home and do something, and we can all, do a little bit within our reach, within our community, within our influence. That word we was using early, influencers. We've all got influence over people. Parents over children, children over parents, even. Brothers and sisters, colleagues, cousins, friends. Everyone can help each other in some way, shape, or form, whether it's with a smile, whether it's with a kind word, whether it's with a gesture, whether it's with some time, whether it's with a project and getting involved and doing something long term. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq, the guidance and strength to do this and to do more of this, and hopefully hit the right areas as well. I'm somebody with a lot of energy, but like yourself, as we always pace ourselves, because we don't want to just go on full steam into one thing and realize, wait a minute, I could have used a lot more energy and done a lot more good work elsewhere. So sometimes we are hesitant to commit to projects because of the outcome and results that we see in them or don't see in them. But at the same time, we assess things, and that's important as well. So if you have ideas, you have suggestions, you can see some, and because sometimes we don't see things as well. We're human. We might miss an idea or an area of work or influence or concern. So please send in your suggestions. Please, let us know if you feel there's something that we need to address, whether it's on this show, whether it's more practical in our communities. And inshallah, we'll be with you on, hopefully with Shaykh Imran's permission, on a weekly basis. Is that right, Shaykh Saab? every Saturday night live.
मेरा दिल करना मैं तुझसे कोल ही बैठा रहूँ.
Mashallah, mashallah. It's like we're together, we're in our rooms at home, and we are with families, alhamdulillah. But yeah, it's been nice to see you. It's been a while, Hazrat. But yeah, thank you to everyone for joining us. Any final words, Shaykh Saab?
Sidi, I just want to concur what you've just said. Allah give you barakah, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our dedications, reflection, thoughts, number of things we touched on this time, inshallah ta'ala. Coming weeks, bi'Iznillah, we will also touch upon numerous questions and statements that were made, inshallah ta'ala. Allah give us tawfiq. Ikhwan wa akhawat, my elders and youngsters, naturally we are very openly discussing, casually engaging with you, inshallah. Some of our statements and conversation might be coming across as slightly harsher, but there's no intention, personal intention to create an environment of what's the word now?
Judgmentalism, or
yes, there's no intention of that. The intention is, of course,
judging people or making. We're just here to discuss. We're here to talk about the realities out there and just share. And thank you for joining us. Please do share this with other people. Thanks, Shaykh Imran. Allah bless you. Everyone take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.